Hello, this is a message for someone who is in a long-term relationship, in a long-term committed relationship, and there's some kind of big thing that you've built together with this person. Maybe you've had children, maybe you have a business. You've built something with this person that now has a life of its own. Maybe it's literal and it's children. And basically, you've been with this person a long time, but it's like a median amount of time, so maybe 5 to 10 years. And what you're realizing, if this message is for you, I'm getting a very, very specific message. I've been getting this message for days and days and days and days. And finally, I'm getting to record it. If this message is for you, I'm not gonna beat around the bush at all. You fell in love with this person in a time of your life where you were doing a lot of drugs. Or maybe you were drinking a ton. But basically, I'm getting a scenario of people who are falling in love on certain specific love drugs, like Molly, okay? And in the initial stages of the relationship, there was a whole lot of that. And then the relationship took off and life took over, and now for whatever reason, you're not into doing that anymore, or you don't have the chance to, or it's not your thing, or let's not even get into that. Anyway, the message I'm getting is though that if this is for you, you're at a point in your life now, in your relationship, where you're looking at this person and you're questioning if you would have fallen in love with them had it not been for the substances involved. So this message is very super specific, but if this message is for you, you will know, because this has been in the forefront of your mind and it is something that keeps coming back to you. So maybe something you've pushed away. Maybe you're a person who hadn't tried these substances before, and this person that became your significant other introduced you to the substances. Maybe you were, by contrast, the person who introduced the other one, and you knew that a certain level of intimacy would more naturally happen if you both were on this substance. And so that was part of the reason you wanted to do it, to sort of take the relationship to the next level. Like if you were the one who introduced the other person, you knew what this. And so if this message is for you and you were the one who introduced it, you're kind of kicking yourself about it too. Because you're like maybe you're looking back on yourself as young and immature or something like that. Because you're thinking, damn, maybe I should have not encouraged a chemical connection to try and figure out if we had an actual connection. Maybe I shouldn't have tried to build on some small matters through substances, and I should have tried to genuinely find out what happens between us. And if you're the person who tried these substances with this person, you're now questioning, why did I do that? And how would I feel if I had never tried those substances? And maybe you're comparing this person in this relationship, in this connection, to past ones where there was no substance involved. So that's why I'm saying this message might be for both sides of this equation, which also makes me wonder if it could be possible that the same couple is thinking simultaneously of this on their own, and then they don't know that each other's thinking this, but it's like a big emerging theme that is almost unavoidable in a household. Is what I'm feeling like. But this also, I'm seeing so many households, so I guess this is a very common issue in my generation. I'm getting a lot of millennials, but yeah, this is hard, it's hard. I put myself in your position. I don't know how I would feel about that. But the message I am getting a message, is that, first of all, you can't change what happened, right? So accept it, learn from it, but you need to reassess this relationship and this connection from this new, mature perspective. And maybe what's going to help you best is just to step out of these denials and this trying to escape the truths. Well, not maybe, for sure, that's what's going to help you best, even if it feels uncomfortable. And, you know, give yourself permission to explore this relationship and not just be on autopilot of the logistics of the day-to-day of running this whatever it is that you guys build together, whether it's a business or people you're raising. What I'm getting is that whoever this message is for, you're struggling with depression. And so that's why this is coming up, because you're questioning, did I build a relationship based on my true feelings? Is that why I am depressed and dissatisfied despite having everything I want, or it looking perfect on the surface, or technically having who I wanted to technically have and did what I wanted to do with them? You're having a case of being depressed despite getting exactly what you wanted, and despite having to an extent engineered the situation, because that's also what I'm getting. If this message is for you, you try to engineer this relationship and you use substances to help you with that. And you know, it makes sense, especially if you're American, because this is a society, after living here for 7 years, this is a society that is constantly pushing the narrative that there's a chemical solution for everything. Fuck, Serena Williams is selling Ozempic. Fuck. Like, you need to understand, you know, your mind has been programmed with lies, and they continue to attempt to program it with lies. So you're gonna have to fight it. Of course, you thought you could engineer a relationship through chemicals in America as a millennial. Of course you did. They programmed you to think that. So forgive yourself for that, but fucking snap out of it, okay? And give yourself a real life based on your real feelings, and real relationships based on your real, like bodily reactions to someone, not a chemical reaction that would have you feeling that way towards anyone, and even like a stuffed animal. Okay, so I hope this was helpful and not harsh. Again, this is a message that's been coming through for a long time. You got this. This is good that you're waking up to this, but yeah, you're sort of a victim of your generation's societal programming. Even though, thinking about it, America really has a history of this being the case for many generations. It's just, you know, for us millennials, maybe there's more of a Molly angle, because that's what I keep getting, literally, is Molly. That's the thing that has created all these relationships. I'm seeing hundreds of relationships based on a series of Molly weekends that awakened, and vacations. I'm also getting all these vacations, and that made you engineered a love connection that way. And now you're 5 to 10 years in, and you're like, fuck, maybe I wanted something a little more organic, and maybe I would be happier if I had an organic connection instead of this thing I tried to engineer with just someone I chose instead of someone that happened in my life. Okay, so I hope that was helpful.